Hi, this is Paul. As some of you are noticing, I'm putting out clips from my conversation with Jonathan Peugeot. I just did a conversation this morning with Martin Shaw, and I'll be putting out some clips of that. I just noticed that in the membership section, I never released my conversation with Glenn Scribner from a month ago, which I intended to bring out on the channel, and somehow it got lost in the shuffle, so that'll be coming out tomorrow morning. And I know this is different from how I've managed the channel. And a few months ago, I started the membership section, and I've been trying to figure out how to do that. Tomorrow, I'm going to have my first members-only live stream with Sam Tiedemann and Laura from the Chicago Estuary. Now, I know this is frustrating because I'm not a particular fan of paywalls. And so when the membership thing came up, I thought I'd try it and see what happened. And now over the last number of months that I've used it, I've kind of liked it. Now, why have I liked it? Well, a number of reasons. Number one, why don't I just release the conversations with someone like Jonathan Peugeot right away, even though everybody's excited to see my talk with Jonathan Peugeot. I get it. Jonathan's a big deal. There's a lot of conversations with Jonathan Peugeot on the internet. Mine is not the only one. I like actually to take some time with them in terms of titling and thumbnailing to think about them, because how I feel about a conversation right after the conversation is different than how I feel about it a few days or even a few weeks later. And so I like having them sit for a while to sort of get my mind around the conversation. I also like that with Randos conversations. I like taking my time thinking about them, and I go back and I watch sections of them. And actually, for me, the discipline of clipping is sort of important, because after you have a conversation, you think you know what you talked about, but then when you go back and watch the videotape, I realize how much I missed in sort of the first going through. And this is something that I've learned making videos generally, that I learn as I re-listen to things. It's sort of the thinking slow part of things. But knowing that, often what would happen is I would have a conversation with Jonathan Peugeot or John Vervaeke or Rando or someone, and I would let people know, yeah, I had a conversation with Jonathan. People are like, can I see it right now? I don't plan on releasing it right now. And then there would be, well, put it on unlisted and give you the link and all of that stuff, and it really became kind of a pain in the neck. And so that's where I came out with the no wait, no ads section of the membership. I also hate YouTube ads. I use YouTube Premium, so I don't have to see YouTube ads. They're incredibly annoying. Why is your channel then monetized? This is a story I've told a number of times. Rebel Wisdom, when David would release the videos, he would put them with no interstitial ads, no ads in the middle. And then what David realized is that after they were on YouTube for a while, YouTube would start putting ads in. And, David was annoyed by that. He would take the ads out, and YouTube would put them back in. About a year ago or so, or actually it was about the time that I monetized, a little longer than that, YouTube basically changed its terms of service that said, we can do whatever we want with your videos. We can put ads in them. We can do whatever we want with your videos. It's our platform. And so at that point, I decided to monetize, because whether I put ads in them or not, at some point, YouTube is going to put ads in them if the video is popular enough. So I know ads are a pain. There are ad blockers out there, all of this stuff. There are no ads on my audio-only podcast. I still have the Patreon out there, and I've never quite figured out what to do with the Patreon, even though I started it years ago. A number of you still support me on Patreon, and that's a wonderful thing. And I think especially if you're primarily an audio listener, the Patreon, and you want to say thank you in some way, the Patreon is probably the best way to go. You can use that. You can use that link if you can find it. It's not terribly easy to find, but that's fine. I think it's in the audio notes that are on the audio. But so that's when I decided to monetize. And I use YouTube Premium. I use a family membership so I can give it to some of my kids and my wife so that we all don't have to look at ads. I think it's a pretty good value, especially for the family membership. So there are 3 levels of the membership section. One is basically randos. And most of what happens in there are randos conversations. And so tomorrow, Friday, my live stream is going to be members only. And that's because Laura's on. And Luke has recently joined the membership, and he's discovered the Laura conversations. And the Laura conversations are outstanding. But what happened with those conversations is they came onto the channel, and Laura was like, I don't know if I feel comfortable with these on the open internet, so I took them down. So then when I started the membership section, they went into the membership section. And Laura's has a lot of observations. The Laura conversations are sort of about male, female, men, and women. And so they go into the membership section. It's a limited number of people. It's just a few hundred people instead of a few thousand people. And so they're not easily searchable. You actually have to pay to see them. And most people just sort of looky-loos that are looking on the internet. They're not going to find them so easily. They'd have to actually do something. So that's hence the membership section, the rando section. Some other randos conversations, people are less comfortable with them out on the open internet, so they stay in the rando section. No wait, no ads. Usually everything in no wait, no ads is going to come to the full channel. It's just going to take a week or two. So if you don't want to wait a week or two, get no wait, no ads. And there's no wait, and I turn the ads off. And at that point, YouTube probably isn't going to put things in. It's after things have been sitting on YouTube for a few months. That's when they tend to start sneaking the interstitial ads in. So, and then the supporter section is for those who make a more significant financial contribution, and then I basically give them my cell phone number, and a supporter can basically get sort of front row access to a randos conversations. Many of the supporter conversations have just simply stayed private. They're just people who wanted to talk to me about this or that. But that's the reason for the members section. So again, if you see clips from the Martin Shaw or the Jonathan Peugeot conversation, I'm talking to John Vervaeke a little bit later in the month. Same thing's going to happen with that. That's going to be the protocol for a lot of these sort of higher status conversations. I'm going to do some clip work on them first. And that's not just because I also like doing clip work on the randos conversations, because one of the things that I've realized in terms of longer videos, both randos conversations and some of these other conversations on the internet, ideas are out there and they deserve sort of the spotlight. And if you make a clip, they get the spotlight, and then it impacts us differently. Whereas if they're in the conversation, they're contextualized. That's better in many respects, but they sort of flow past us like water through a river. So I just wanted to do a little bit more clarification about the membership section, how it works. And so I think, I don't even remember the cost. I think the randos is $3 a month. I better check. Okay, so the randos is $3 a month. The no wait, no ads is $7 a month. The supporter is $25 a month. And I should probably do more work on this. I'm still toying with what to do with the Bible study. I might make Bible study a supporter level thing, and that would be basically inclusion in an online Bible study. And again, part of the reason for these levels is, especially with something like if I decide to do an online Bible study, you need to have skin in the game. And money is a way of having people have skin in the game. Now, I've sort of avoided this because I know that some people just don't have this kind of money, which is totally fine. I totally get that. But it's an imperfect way. At Living Stones, anybody comes in. So it's no money involved at all. So that's what's going on with the membership section. And again, tomorrow, members only live stream with Sam and Laura. And Laura's got some interesting things she wants to talk about again. And if you look back at our members' conversations with Laura, they're really interesting. So anyway, thanks for your time and attention.